the joints give us sort of a framework for wrapping our mind around tension. But before we get into like exercises and the actual techniques, I want to discuss how to body map and why it matters. So body mapping is not my idea. I learned about it in my master's degree. As far as I know, the way I'm about to present body mapping is my own original ideas. That's not to say nobody has come up with anything similar out there, particularly on other instruments. My experience was that this literature was more robustly explored by other instrumentalists than it was on guitar at that time, but this was 10 years ago. While I would say that what I'm about to present to you is original, may or may not be the only person in the world with similar ideas. But so one of the documents is called Joints and Body Mapping, and I'm going to present a link to it at the bottom of this video. And it walks you through all the joints you're going to need to know for this. And then we'll continue with our conversations about tension. But I'm going to go ahead and walk through those joints now. And one of the concepts that Rene and I have had some agreement on is working from the center outwards. And I'll kind of explain why that is towards the end. So first we're going to go through the joints. Well, actually, I'm going to explain why now. So if you work from the center outwards conceptually when you're thinking about joints and body mapping and muscle exertion, there's some value in that, because let's say that if your spine is relaxed and then you lean forward to get to the guitar and then you rotate around to get around the side of the guitar, well, you've now created a setup that's going to affect the way everything below moves. Now, it's possible that you can be relaxed up here and still have some weird wrist stuff. And so there is sort of a flaw in that system, but I have to create some sort of structure to organize it. So working from the center outward is partly arbitrary. It just gives you gives me a structure to present this material. But there's also some value in it pedagogically, I think, and intellectually, in that to a certain degree, like if everything downstream is going to be somewhat affected by what's happening upstream. Like you're gonna, if you're leaning forward and leaning sideways to position yourself around the strings, it's then going to affect your angle of attack and different things. Like if you watch the angle of my fingers, if I was holding a guitar, so if I'm lean forward and twisting out, if I do nothing but I lean back, and if I lean backwards and then untwist, it's going to change. The fingers are going to go along for the ride, and so it's going to change your angle. And so you want to learn how to relax from the center outwards, in my opinion, because once you know you're solid there, then you can start working on this. Whereas if you start here and try to work with the fingers, well, eventually when you circle back to fixing these other things on top, you're going to have to change everything you thought about and learned about the fingers, because this movement of moving back, moving sideways, brings the fingers along with it and changes their angle of attack in relation to the guitar.